isn't it? A bit unusual for his particular style. The leaf filigree. Quite delicate and lovely. Normally it goes for more of a geometric swirling designs, but the leaves are a lovely delicate touch. Of course his trademark teardrop diamonds, though perfectly cut, beautifully glazed. Oh, hello, Your Grace. Welcome to the Crown and Scepter. This realm's #1 destination for all things regal and elegant. How can I help you today? I see. You're looking for a few tiaras, crowns, or headpieces for some social events coming up, yes? Wonderful. I would be more than happy to help you. There's nothing quite so striking as a beautiful tiara when paired with the perfect ensemble and a beautiful face. It can be an absolute showstopper. Whether you're going for something large and regal or something a bit more understated but refined and elegant, the right tiara can absolutely change your entire evening. Now, I'm sure that Your Grace is aware, the crowns that we have here at the Crown and Scepter, there's a little more to it than just that too. Of course, they are all beautifully designed by some of the kingdom's greatest artisans, with the most refined stones and lovely designs in precious metals, but they also are all a bit magical as well. Little charms, whether it's to safeguard the wearer against certain things or to boost your confidence or your poise, all kinds of little benefits from these crowns as well. So, what exactly do you think you're looking for today? A variety. All right. Let me set this one down for a moment. Let's chat a bit. There we are. We just got that one in from one of our most popular designers. I'm rather excited about it. So you're looking for a variety of pieces today. Are there particular events that you're shopping for, or would you like to just find a few pieces that could work in multiple situations? Alright, perfect. Now, do you have your garments, your ensembles picked out for these events already, or would you like crowns that would sort of fit with different colours, different styles, things like that? Open to colours, okay, sure. You know, sometimes choosing the dress and then choosing the tiara is the way to go, but sometimes when you just find the perfect tiara, then the perfect dress tends to find you as well. Alright, lovely. Now, do you prefer wearing more silver or gold? Now, of course, some people swear that certain skin tones work better with one or the other. Personally, I think it's down to preference of what you think looks good on you, but I'm happy to hear your opinions and also give my own if you would like. Okay, sure. Yes, I would think with your colouring, let's see, the hair and the face here, I really think you could go with either silver or gold. I think it would just depend on the gown that you were wearing, other sorts of jewellery that you would like to have, but all of that can be chosen after a tiara as well. Okay, well, perhaps I'll show you just a bit of a variety and we'll go from there. I don't want to overwhelm you with all of the choices that we have here. Generally, I like to start with showing you a few see what you think of those, and then we can go from there. Alright. Now, as you are thinking about the presence that you want to have at these different events, what sort of words come to mind for you? Words like regal, elegant, refined, confident, any of those sorts of things. What is the sort of air that you would like to give off? Right. Refined but not oversedated. Perhaps letting the jewels speak for themselves but not overpower you, yes? Alright. Well, you do have such an exquisite grace about you on your own. I think it would be a very difficult task to find a tiara that would overpower you. But, of course, we can stick to things that are a bit more subtle, if you would like. Maybe I'll throw in a few more elaborate designs as well, just to see what you think of them. Okay, let me grab one of my first pieces I would like to show you. Now, if you don't like it, please be honest and let me know. Sometimes a no is even better than a yes, because a no gets us closer to what you're actually looking for. So let's see, where should we start? I know just the thing. Just a moment. Now, this piece is absolutely timeless in its design, in its immortal beauty. It's a very classic tiered tiara shape here. You can see with the different spires centering around this beautiful opalescent almost stone there. This is called the Amaranthine Diadem. A beautifully crafted piece with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spires in descending order, of course, showcasing the centre and bringing the attention to your beautiful face. It wraps about halfway around the head, so it can be worn with hair up or more down as well, if you would like. And you can see just the beautiful glitters in those lovely, lovely opaline diamonds. Absolutely enchanting. And that is, of course, appropriate for this particular crown, because the Amaranthine Diadem grants its wearer a very special spell called Eternal Poise. The wearer of this particular diadem never appears flustered, fatigued, or out of place. They have an air of elegance and belonging wherever it is that they go with this beautiful crown. Their voice carries easily and elegantly, even in a whisper. It is a wonderful piece to make a statement, but also to help with any sort of nerves at social events. You will always appear to be confident in a very graceful, elegant way. You can see down here we have a nice little bar of diamonds there that serves as the base. It serves as a very comfortable rest on the head there. And then, of course, all of these beautiful filigree designs with the opaline diamonds as the showcase, and all of these perfectly cut smaller diamonds around. We have almost a heart-shaped motif here on each of the different spires. A lovely piece, versatile, of course, with any sort of colours that you might choose to wear. And it's still very lightweight as well. You can see the metalwork here, the caging is absolutely exquisite. Soft to the touch, nice, polished and rounded. No hard edges or anything that might be uncomfortable. And the open caged design here cuts out some of that weight. So this is a tiara that you could wear all night without feeling tired or strained. What do you think of this one? Good, good. I'm glad you like it. It's a nice one to start with because it is, as I said, very versatile and a lovely classic design. Would you like to try it on? Of course, Your Grace. Now, of course, before you purchase any of these, they will be fully polished so that they are perfectly ready for any sort of event. But sometimes it does take trying on a tiara to really get the feel for it. That regal presence, the confidence, the beauty, the grace. Alright. Now, for your events, do you like to wear your hair more up or down? Alright, sure. Well, as I said, this one is quite versatile. Now, if you wouldn't mind, Your Grace, could I just brush your hair back a bit before we clip in the tiara? Alright, thank you, Your Grace. There we are. Just gently brushing that to the side. Now, generally, as I'm sure Your Grace knows, with tiaras they will be clipped into place, and then generally the hair is either clipped or twisted or braided around the tiara, so you do not see how it is affixed. It gives an air of effortlessness, I suppose. I do have some other crowns that are quite a bit heavier than this one. I don't generally suggest wearing those for incredibly long periods of time, but this one is very, very lightweight, as you will see. Alright, now just going to place this on top of the head. Of course, all of these can be adjusted to fit your head perfectly, but this one is very, very comfortable, I think you'll find. There. How does that feel? Exactly, it's very, very lightweight. It looks absolutely stunning with your skin tone too. Every minute move of the head sends sparkles all across the room. It really is a showstopper, without being so big and loud as to draw attention away from where it should be. But it's an absolutely beautiful, timeless piece. Well, I'm glad that you like it. And let me remove this for now, but we will certainly keep this one in mind. I'm very glad that you like it. Now, this, of course, doesn't have all that much colour to it. The opaline diamonds are a lovely sort of multi-coloured sparkle there, but I do have some crowns that also have beautiful other gemstones in them as well. Sapphires, emeralds. Do any of those sound interesting to you? Sapphires, perhaps? Yes, of course. Let me get one of those. Now this is a beautiful piece. It's got some of the same sort of timeless elegance to it, but this is a bit smaller, as you can see, almost more of a bandeau design for a tiara. Not quite the large spires as the last ones, but so beautifully delicate. Ethereal elegance, of course, with beautiful, deep sapphire details. This is the Auralean Tiara. You can see it's got a lovely rose gold metal base with beautiful swirls and filigrees, and of course those gorgeous deep blue sapphires, each which seem to encase the night sky or the swirling ocean in their depths. The centerpiece here, of course, you can see this lovely cut teardrop sapphire, and then we have all of these very thin, delicate almond-shaped sapphires around the side, and of course some round-cut princess stones as well. It gives just the right amount of shimmer and sparkle, while also giving such a beautiful depth that you don't always get with just diamonds alone. Absolutely enchanting, if you ask me. And all of these little filigrees reminiscent of vines or swirling winds, perhaps the swirling tides. Absolutely lovely. Now, as I said, all of the tiaras that I have here have some magical benefits to them as well. Sapphires are often associated with the mind, with clarity, communication, intuition, and the like. And this large sapphire in the middle has been enchanted so that in its presence, any sort of spells that have to do with confusion, illusions, or distractions are weakened. This tiara can serve as a silent anchor in the midst of chaos or uncertainty, a centre of grace even in the most tumultuous of circumstances, a perfect piece for someone going into perhaps a diplomatic situation that might be a bit tense, perhaps a stately dinner where relations are not particularly friendly. Anything like that, where you fear that someone may be trying to deceive you or not telling you the whole truth. This tiara will give you a sense of clarity and wisdom. And of course, as I said, it is absolutely gorgeous too. Another one that is very, very lightweight here. Beautiful lines, delicate metallurgy, sparkling diamonds and deep blue sapphires. A perfect tiara for someone as beautiful as your grace. Would you like to try this one on? Of course. Here we are. Just place it just like so. Now the bandeau style of tiara, it's, as I said, a bit less steepled in the front, but it gives a beautiful presence and can be seen from any angle that you wear it. Since it is open in the back again, as all tiaras are, it can be worn with quite a few different hairstyles as well. How does that one feel? Good, good. Yes, that one is very comfortable as well. Could certainly be worn for a long period of time without feeling uncomfortable. It is rather easy to secure and keep in place. Well, I'm glad you like that one as well. Of course, the blue doesn't always match everything, but any sort of neutral coloured gowns, anything that can play on the gold or the sparkling diamonds, of course blue tones or anything in the cooler tone family, this could be a wonderful addition. So we'll keep that one in mind as well. Now, I've shown you two different crowns that have a very timeless classic design to them, but I've got a few others that are rather unique, a bit more eclectic, a bit more inspired by nature and the like. Nonetheless regal and elegant, but just something a little bit different. that might spark your curiosity as well. Would you like to look at one? Perfect. This is one of my favourite new pieces that we've gotten in. Now, as you can see, it has a similar shape to the Auralean Tiara. It's not particularly large and tall, but this one is much more reminiscent of beautiful leaves and vines, calling in the inherent beauty of nature that speaks to all of us in one way or another. You can see this lovely filigree here, and of course the stars of the show, these beautiful pearly roses carved directly from freshwater pearls. It's a very difficult process, carving pearls. It takes not only craftsmanship but also some magical know-how. You can see this one has all kinds of little flowers and other motifs carved from beautiful freshwater pearls, as well as some lovely moonstones as well. An absolute delight for those who enjoy nature. This crown is called the Crown of the Verdant Queen. It was originally designed by an elven king for his beloved bride, and this particular elven maiden, she was quite fond of nature, as many of us elves are, of course. She was said to be more beautiful than the faintest, daintiest rose, more sweet than the sweetest of honey, and more elegant than all the flowers in all the royal gardens. And he designed this crown for her to wear on her wedding day. Now, according to the legend, this beautiful elven maiden, while she was sweet and beautiful and refined, she was not particularly used to the rules, the traditions of life in court. She very much enjoyed going barefoot wherever she was, connecting to the mother land all around us. And so the king put an enchantment on this tiara that whenever you wear it, if you are barefoot, as you walk, flowers will bloom in your wake. So she didn't even need flower girls on her wedding. Beautiful daisies, roses, baby's breath, and morning glories dotted the ground behind her as she cascaded down the aisle to her king. A beautiful story, and it is quite true, at least the enchantment part of this. Whenever you wear this, if you're barefoot, flowers will bloom in your wake. Now, of course, that's not exactly practical for particularly regal events, state dinners and the like, but it's still a beautiful, beautiful crown. And it also grants the wearer a certain charm and innocence associated with flowers, the beauty of unspoiled nature. It can influence those around you to see you with a certain level of grace and innocent beauty. It could be quite influential. A beautiful piece, whether you like to walk barefoot or not. But it is a lovely story, isn't it? Would you like to try this one on? No, that's alright. That's alright. It's not for everyone. It's certainly a very unique piece. But perhaps we can find something a bit better, yes? Now, do you like the element of nature of this piece, but perhaps looking for something a bit more refined? Of course, let me show you another option. Now, this particular crown is a bit more simplistic in nature, perhaps, but no less regal by any means. This is called the Sylvan Wreath, a beautiful circlet you can see here with lovely ivy leaves in the front here and a lovely simple woven design all the way around the crown, reminiscent of a very secure and beautiful knot. The knot and the rope and the thrice wound cord are all symbols of unity and peace and working together, whether that's companionship in a partner or whether it's relations between nations. Any of those can be symbolized with a beautifully wound knot. But of course, the showpiece here are the beautiful leaves up front and this lovely smoky diamond. It seems to hold an entire world in that beautifully cut oval, doesn't it? Now, this was also hand carved by an elven artisan, and this one still has that connection to nature, but when someone wears this crown, it grants them the ability to pass virtually unseen through any sort of natural terrain, be that the forest, be that a jungle, even a field of flowers, even dunes in the desert, anywhere where nature reigns supreme, you will be able to pass almost unseen, very stealthy, perhaps not quite as useful for big regal dinners where you want people to see you, but this was worn by an elven prince who was a bit more hands-on, I suppose. Not necessarily sitting at dinners all that often, more out protecting his kingdom. But it is just a very striking piece. It doesn't always need to be ornate and grand to still be elegant. Sometimes the simplest of designs can be just as effective in commanding a beautiful presence. What do you think of this one? Is this a little more your speed? Right, perfect. Would you like to try this one on? Good, good. Now this one, as it is a circlet, it can be worn with different hairstyles. You'll just have to have a stylist who knows how to sort of wrap the hair around it if you would like to wear your hair up, or just incorporate it into the design of the hair. Any good stylist, I'm sure, would be able to advise you, but it is just a very regal piece. What do you think of that one? Good, good. Yes, that one is still rather lightweight. Not quite as lightweight as perhaps the Auralean Tiara, but still quite comfortable. It could be worn for quite a long period of time if needed. Good, good. I'm glad that you like that. Quite different than the others that I've shown you so far, but no less striking, that is for certain. Good. Now, I do have another one. It's very unique. Certainly not to everyone's taste, but something tells me you might appreciate it. Would you like me to show you? Right. Now this crown is elegant and refined, as well as a bit mysterious almost. This one is called the Obsidian Bloom. You can see it is made of beautiful onyx stones and smoky diamonds that catch the light. The onyx almost seems to catch the light and swallow it up, while the smoky diamonds reflect it beautifully around the room. Now this one is similar to the steepled, tiered look of the first tiara that I showed you, but perhaps a little smaller. But we've still got some beautiful points here, 5 along the crown, that descend as you get further out, with the centerpiece here. It's a bit more of a uniform look as opposed to having 1 or 2 large gems in the center. But the dark stones are positively striking. I think with your colouring, especially if you had a more dark coloured gown, this would look absolutely exquisite on you. I think it could quite bring out your eyes. As you can see, it's got that lovely rose gold behind it as well. Smooth to the touch, with a band here that sits on the head very, very comfortably. Now, this crown, the Obsidian Bloom, as I said, it is dark, elegant, and a touch mysterious, and it also grants the wearer immunity to minor hexes or glamours. It works to shield a wielder from any sort of ill intention as long as it's of a minor ability. The colour black and obsidian stones are often seen as a symbol of protection, of banishing any sort of ill-intended energy. And so this crown innately protects you from any of those sorts of things. Now, depending on your attunement to this item, it can also grant you the ability to see through people's deceptions quite well. It can raise your perception and intuition of a person's true intentions. It's almost as if their deception is reflected in your own eyes and thrown back at them, so that they know that you know exactly what it is they're trying to do. It's also just a beautiful, striking piece. These lovely intertwining swirls, reminiscent of lovely flowers, a garden of darkness and mystery. A beautiful, beautiful piece. As I said, not to everyone's taste, and that's alright, but I think you could certainly appreciate it. Good, good. I'm so glad that you like it. Not everyone appreciates this one, but it is quite a showstopper, if you ask me. Would you like to try it on? Of course. You'll find that this one is also very lightweight, very comfortable with the band and the soft swirls at the bottom there. There we are. Just tuck that into place. There. How does that feel? Good, yes, yes. Very comfortable, as I said. You could wear that one all day without any sort of strain or discomfort. But it is very, very striking nonetheless. quite a conversation starter. Perfect for anyone who may be in a situation where you don't want to be deceived, or you need to be protected from something. It almost works as your own personal little bodyguard against magical attacks. Take that one off for now. I'm so glad that you like this. Well, I showed you quite a few. I, of course, have more if you don't like the ones that I showed you. But, like I said, I don't like to show so many that someone becomes overwhelmed, and, you know, too many choices sometimes is just as difficult as not enough choices. So, are there any that I showed you that you feel particularly drawn to? You like the Obsidian Bloom? I'm very, very glad to hear that. Well, if you're going for this one, might I suggest another one that would sort of offset this one? Something completely different that could work in quite a few other situations as well. Perhaps you would like the Amaranthine Diadem too. Yes, let me get that one again. Here we are, this one again with the beautiful opaline diamonds. Bright and lustrous, just as this one is dark and mysterious. But the two of these together, well, they both make quite a statement, don't they? And I think that these could work with many different outfits, ensembles, and at quite a few different events as well. What do you say to the pairing of these two? Wonderful. That is an excellent choice, Your Grace. Of course, I didn't expect anything less from someone of your refinement. I'm glad that you can understand the beauty and the benefit of the right tiara. Well, let me get these wrapped up for you, all right? I'm very pleased that you came here to the Crown and Scepter. If at any time you need another tiara, whether you have a specific gown that needs just the right look, or whether you're looking for something to give you a bit of a magical benefit, you know where to find us. Thank you, Your Grace, for coming to the Crown and Scepter. I'll see you next time.